Greetings everyone. Right, in this video I want to talk about something that I've noticed quite recently and I found it to be extremely disturbing and in some way frustrating. Now, I don't know if you've noticed along with me, but I've noticed quite recently that there's been an overwhelming aim to make biblical movies. And I remember ever since The Passion of Christ, produced by Mel Gibson, one after another there seems to be this attention of making biblical movies. Some of the recent biblical films are, for one, The Son of God,
How did this happen?
Come with me.
What are we gonna do?
Change the world.
We also have one of the most corrupt biblical movies which focuses on the story of Noah and the flood.
No. What did he say?
He's going to destroy the world.
And an upcoming film which is soon to be released focuses on the story of Moses and Pharaoh.
You know something's wrong. You've always felt it. Your parents never told you the truth.
What truth?
The year of your birth, there was a prophecy that our leader would be born to liberate us.
That leader is you, Moses.
And finally, we have the movie which we're going to focus on in the remainder of this video, entitled Left Behind.
I know you all want answers, and believe me, so do I, and I'll do my best to get them.
I heard some doctors talking. It's not just here. It's all over the world.
Now friends, as frustrated and annoyed as I was when I was watching this trailer, I noticed that there was two main concerns that came to my mind. The first one is that people don't study the Bible or study the truth for themselves. And secondly, the justification of what people say about the Bible because they don't study the Bible for themselves, but rather watch these corrupt films. Look at this picture and see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I was watching the trailer of Left Behind and I curiously scrolled down to see what comments were left behind by some individuals. Now, I obviously know what atheists are going to say, but notice what was said and how it was said. As an atheist, I welcome movies like this with open arms. Not only do they show how absurd, childish and unbelievable aspects of monotheistic religion are, but they demonstrate precisely how evil, bloodthirsty and inhumane the scriptures are. You see, what can really be annoying and frustrating is not the notion of the film itself, but rather I know the hidden agenda that the devil is planning out. People like this, individuals, they don't study the Bible for themselves, and so the film is literally an aid in setting up the minds of people in this mindset of error. Friends, this is exactly why we are not to be ignorant of the devil's devices, because though we know that Hollywood is devoted to uproot God's truth, we have other individuals and other ministries who are dedicated to help understand this truth. Individuals like the Forerunner Chronicles or Little Light Ministries, and many more that are here to aid in the exposure of what the darkness is trying to show. And speaking for myself, I know that I am dedicated to allow the Lord to use this ministry, which many of you probably know, and if you are willing to also be in this position, the Lord will use you in the exact same way as He's using each and every one of us. So friends, right now, let's get into the errors of this video that they're going to make, which is called Left Behind, and let's see exactly how we can understand the truth for ourselves, because many people are missing out on this opportunity because of all these films that are being made. So in this video regarding this Left Behind series, we're going to focus on the following points. Point number one, the Bible used to support the Left Behind theory, also known as the Rapture. Now in this point we're going to see where this Left Behind theology, also known as the Rapture, comes from, and we're going to see what kind of evidence is used in the Word of God to try and support it. The second point we're going to cover is known as the foundations of the Rapture. Now in this point we're going to see where or who spawned this theology of the Rapture and how it affects this notion of God, and you're going to be very surprised when we cover this point. The third point is the biblical rapture. Now in this point we're going to see in the Bible exactly what the Bible has to say about the actual second coming of Jesus Christ. And we're going to look at the visual, we're also going to look at the audible and the experiential factors of the second coming, so we know for a certainty how we can be prepared for what is to come, and to also remove the false scales that have covered the eyes of viewers. So friends, let's start with the very first point, which is the Bible being used to support this theory of the rapture. Now I want to show you this chart. It may be a bit confusing for some, but I want to briefly tell you about the specific information and the details it is teaching. Now this chart shows the time when the Messiah is expected to come, and this was said over 500 plus years before his time. I mean, just on a side note, this prophecy is actually one of the means of my decision being a Christian. But now after examining each point along with the time frame, do you know what individual this points to? Now many people don't know this chart in Daniel chapter 9, but this chart points out to none other than the Messiah, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Now I want to show you something very specific on this chart which will show you added detail and how the doctrine of the rapture comes into play in a deceptive game. So now as you're looking at this chart, I want to bring your attention to this part of the chart. Now according to Daniel chapter 9 verse 27, this 7 years, or this 1 week, which is 7 years, in context of this left behind notion, is actually going to be fulfilled after Jesus Christ comes and takes his people away, while leaving the wicked in a state of confusion, destruction and despair. So in this understanding, this is why it is known as the 7-year tribulation. Daniel chapter 9 verse 27 says, "And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblations to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate." Now like I said, this can sound a bit confusing. I will make the clarity of this verse available at the end of this video, but the notion is that after Jesus takes his children home, destruction will then come on the earth for 7 years. And this is what the film promotes. Now Daniel chapter 9 verse 27 is actually one of the key verses that is used to support this theory of the rapture. And as it's always wise to reason things out, I'm going to show you some other verses which could actually possibly be an aid in this understanding of this 7-year tribulation or even the rapture as well. But we're also going to see if these very verses actually support the ideology of this secret rapture. Let's look at a few common verses just to see if this is true. Matthew chapter 24 verse 40 says, "Then shall 2 be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left." Verse 41 says, "2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left." Luke chapter 17 verse 34 also says, "I tell you, in that night there shall be 2 men in one bed, the one shall be taken and the other shall be left." Okay, so what we're clearly seeing here is that there's a notion that one's going to be taken and the other is going to be left. Now though this is an obvious case, I want you to understand and look at this verse and just to see how things could possibly add together. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 1 to 3 says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travaileth upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Now question, do you know when a thief is going to come at your house or in my house or in any case? No. So basically you're not going to know when the Lord's going to come, and he's going to come in such a sudden way that you're not going to see it coming. And especially as you include the other verses such as one will be taken and one will be left. So friends, I don't know if you've noticed, but if we put all these verses together, it could seem that this rapture or this 7-year tribulation is actually a true fact. But no. Friends, we're going to get into the nitty-gritties of this understanding of the rapture, and we're also going to see how we can understand what the Bible is truly saying about the second coming of Jesus Christ, because obviously many people are going to be even more deceived by this video that's going to come out soon. And it's a doctrine that has caused a lot of mockery, a lot of comedy from famous people. Hence why people won't read the Bible, but they'll surely accept this doctrine because of the people making this film.
It's too late for you! You're already in the hole!
So friends, I know this is just the beginning of many things to come, and you know, in some cases it can be quite sad because many people don't want to know the truth, and in fact they would rather be completely unaware of the truth willfully. But as we head into part 2 to cover up the last 2 remaining points, I want to introduce you to a documentary that I made not too long ago, which is called The Doctrines of Entertainment. In this doctrine we go through over an hour of important footage from popular individuals, and we see see what doctrines are out on display by such individuals like Kesha, Assassin's Creed, The Simpsons, and also Woodkid. So friends, I highly recommend that you watch this documentary, The Doctrines of Entertainment. I'm going to play the trailer at the end of this video so you can have a look at what it's going to be about. But part 2 of this video is going to be out very soon, so please keep this in mind. If you want to share this video, please do, because we're going to go into some very, very important facts. But for now, thank you for watching. May God bless each and every one of you, and see you in part 2. God bless. Bye for now. The entertainment industry is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry, reaching viewers from all ages, genders, races, locations, and classes of people. Entertainment is seen in all its forms, from the dancer in the street to the blogger on the internet. Whatever the case may be, entertainment is a way of life. Now, in our previous video, we went through the understanding on what entertainment was all about. We saw that it's not just a simple case of being entertained under amusement, fun, jokes, games, and also watching movies. But we saw entertainment to be in a condition where you are held, kept, bound to be in a condition of tainment. So just like a fish held and captured in a net based on the drawing of bait, what bait is used to draw people into this form of tainment? And why did God inspire the Apostle Paul, who said in Romans chapter 12 verse 2, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind"? And most importantly, what is entertainment's part to play in these last days? Let's find out in part 2 of our documentary, The Doctrines of Entertainment.